drivers are waiting very late, but off we go with green. Who made the best start? And it looks so the McLaren is very good from the second row of the grid. Has he tucked in behind the BMW? The BMW is leading the way, and Reinhard Koffler on the outside of the front row has been jumped, so it's Mór into second place. Now he's taken a very wide line down into turn one. He's confident there isn't enough of a challenge from behind, and Koffler's got caught out. Koffler goes wide into the gravel. Oh, he started on the outside of the front row. He's going to be about 30th by the time, well, about 20th by the time he gets out of T1 back onto the circuit. So good start from pole by Cobalt. Good run up into second place from fourth for Mór. Jerome de May is pushed very hard by Lennart Marianek in 34. You certainly feel that Csaba Mór is going to be monstered, but he's being helped at the moment because Alain Ferte there is sitting, trying to see what he can do to Mad Siljehaug. Maybe all can calm down on the cockpit of the Equipe Verschoor McLaren. It does have a little bit of clear air. There it is in third place. Oh, we have a clatter from behind. Jerome de May has been given a thump by 34. Lennart Marianek lost some of his bodywork against the back of the Aston Martin. Couldn't see why that would happen. This is lap 6, and a big surprise there. Now you can see how tattered Marianek's KTM is. Well, that's an absolutely surprising one. No one was braking particularly heavy at that point, but bodywork disintegrating. Will that be called into the pits? You'd certainly say it's not just tatty, and maybe it's not safe because various bits of the front end of that car could be dropping off. So disappointment for the Kiska entry there. Started from 6th, was running in about 7th place when that happened, but a big surprise too for Jerome de May. Oh dear, they're falling at the moment. That's the second CD Sport car to be involved in an incident. That's number 31, and that was started by Benjamin Ricci. It's had a spin, you can say. Well, he's tried to drive through the gravel, he's just about made it to the back, but front end contact, the sister car with Mathieu Cheroy, we saw off the circuit down on the exit of turn 1, but managed to carry on. So Csaba Mór working hard. Now he's got real company because Mad Siljehaug closer than he has been for a while, helped by the fact as Benjamin Ricci's Cayman sits there in the gravel, front wheel not quite at the right angle. Helped by the fact that Alain Ferte is not on Siljehaug's tail right now. So there he is in 64, able to press off and getting a far tidier exit as they run down the hill. And now it's his chance to get his nose ahead of Csaba Mór. And don't forget, it was into this corner that Csaba had to cede position. This time just manages to get the McLaren turned in. Last time he was challenged down there. Will Mór in the Aston Martin got down the inside and made it stick. And this time Csaba Mór having to try really, really hard to be defensive and only just keeping ahead of Mad Siljehaug. Incident between car number 31 and 34 under investigation. 34, of course, was the Team Kiska car, and 31 was the CD Sport car of Benjamin Ricci. Don't quite understand that. They didn't start anywhere near each other on the grid. Get back to you on that one. I thought the contact between 34 and, sorry, that I'm confusing my sisters. That's Marianek. So, up front, leading easily, 6.8 seconds clear. Hardly seen him for a while. He's got such an advantage. We've got Cobalt leading in the M4. Just starts another lap. I have to crane my head. Still can't see the second place car, which will be the Aston Martin. There it is, of Will Mór. Then the third place McLaren of Csaba Mór, still holding onto that third place. But look at the train of cars behind him. Mór, Siljehaug, Ferte, de May, Marianek, and August Macbeth. But Will Marionette be called in? You can see behind the silver Aston Martin, you've got the flapping front end on Marionette's car. Not affecting its performance, but certainly fewer bits on the front of that car. One suggests they've been dropped out around the circuit, and you don't want to be dropping sharp bits of carbon fibre. Again, Csaba Mór just struggling to get his car turned into the slower corners. You can see that tattered front bodywork, but it looks as though Csaba Mór is being challenged by Siljehaug, who is ahead in third place. It is this time just in front, Csaba Mór. It is a question of when, surely not if. Alain Ferté had been off Siljehaug's tail, buys a little bit of respite for Csaba Mór because he is now back on the tail of Siljehaug. Siljehaug had a couple of laps attacking without Alain Ferté, but he's been delayed by Csaba Mór, and that has allowed Alain Ferté in the white and red Porsche Cayman to close right back in. Just under 3/4 of an hour of this 1 hour race remaining, or more to the point. And now, near contact, Ferté's clipped the rear of dearie me, of Mad Siljehaug, a big tank slapper, and somehow he holds on to 4th place. As the Aston Martin Jerome Demey got very, very close indeed. That was a fabulous hold, but unfortunately a little bit of contact and a slapper there for Alain Ferté. So that was working him up a bit. Just as he closed in on the tail of Mad Siljehaug. That allows Siljehaug again a chance to attack, without attack from behind, attack Csaba Mór, but somehow the Equipe Verschoor McLaren is still there in 3rd place. Ferté hasn't lost track position, he just lost track order, but he lost a couple of seconds, and that KTM looking more and more tatty. Number 34 in the hands of Lennart Marionette. So on to another lap. Csaba Mór has now got Siljehaug right in his slipstream, a 1/4 of a second between them, but towards the end of the straight, the sleeker McLaren pulls away again. Obviously different performance at different points on the circuit. Alain Ferté remains just ahead of Jerome Demey. The battle for 7th place, Lennart Marionette, the tattered number 34. Still just ahead of August Macbeth, but August must be seeing the bits flapping, thinking, are any of those going to fall out and strike my car? 54 is Macbeth. From RYS Team Pankel. In fact, now we've got 2 more cars joining the group. Reinhard Koffler and Nicky Leutwiler, the Porsche Cayman driver, number 222. They are in the top 10 and getting closer and closer to Macbeth in the car that's flapping the bodywork. Number 34 of Lennart Marionette. Taking a tighter line into the hairpin this time, still holding on to 3rd place, Csaba Mór, but he's now 7 and a bit seconds down on Will Moore, who passed him really not that long ago, but certainly front-end grip seems to be a problem for Csaba Mór, washing very wide, not so much in that corner, but certain other points around the circuit. Turn 5 springs to mind. You see bits of tyre debris at the side of the circuit, but Siljehaug can do nothing about Csaba Mór at the moment. Their gap is swinging one way, singing another. Incident between car number 94, which is a RYS Team Schönrahmer car, Nikolai Roggeview, and car number 30 under investigation. 30 was the car we saw off the circuit, Mathieu Charoy, but that was the one that was able to continue, whereas car 94 over and out. Certainly not looking as though it's come out of a showroom. Number 34 continues to complete the 9th lap of the race. I have good news. Will Moore has started to close the gap on the race-leading BMW, but I think that's possibly down to the race leader being in among the traffic, but he came down by 0.2 of a second, and he's trying again. August Macbeth in 54 finally gets past Lennart Marionette. At the back of that little pack, we've got Reinhard Koffler in the number 14 RYST KTM, and he has just set the fastest one of the 3 fastest sectors of the race, so he is getting closer and closer to Macbeth. That's why Macbeth had to leap and very quickly make that move to finally get past Lennart Marionette. So look out for 14. You can see it at the background of your shot, tucked in 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is with the red nose. Red-nosed KTM coming good as the race goes on. Don't forget, Koffler went off. He was outside of the front row and he went off into the gravel at the first turn. Came back on in a 20-something position, so that's been really quite a charge. That's been the sub-story of the race, but having seen this battling third place grouping, it's hard to draw your eyes away from it, but he's now in the back of the group. There he is, third of those those KTMs, DeMay, Marionek, Macbeth, DeMay in the Aston Martin obviously. The silver one there, just coming to your screen, 007, and now Macbeth is challenging him. A little bit of something flying in the air. I don't think it was off the Aston Martin. I think it was actually some of the bodywork that got tattered at that very point a few laps ago when Marionek hit the back of the Aston Martin. Marionek, the meat in the KTM sandwich, and certainly Reinhard Koffler in that red-nosed number 14 fancies his chance of getting past both of these. The fact he's gained about 20 positions to get there. Little bits of debris all around the circuit. That, fortunately, is tyre debris. And Macbeth, having got ahead of Marionek, has had to hand it back on last lap and trying to take it all over again up the inside into the final corner. He'll do so. They'll probably push both themselves wide, and will this allow number 14, Reinhard Koffler, to make a better move onto the start-finish straight? Most certainly it has. Moore still under pressure from Mads Siljehaug, but look for the KTMs behind. Marionek on the outside, the blue nose of Macbeth up the inside, and maybe up the inside of both comes Reinhard Koffler. He's definitely going to get inside Marionek. Yes, 14 now ahead of 34. So been lapping, well, in fact last time he gained a tiny bit. It's down to 6 seconds flat, first to second, the third to fourth though is much closer. Csaba Mór, Mads Siljehaug, if there's more than 0.2 of a second between them in this battle for third place when they cross the finish line, I'll be immensely surprised. 0.291 of a second. Alain Ferte keeping them honest, keeping there in 5th place overall. August Macbeth, Reinhard Koffler in behind. Jerome DeMay lost those 2 places, falls to 8th place. And now we've got a whole host of cars, including, I think, the street art racing Aston Martin. Yes, there it is. Csaba Mór is in from 3rd, Siljehaug from 4th.
c'est éprouvant pour les mécaniques.
Et un qui tire les marrons du feu finalement de cette histoire, c'est Robert Consani qui se retrouve en deuxième position. L'équipe Speedcar qui pourrait vraiment réaliser la toute bonne opération ici. Mais attention parce que derrière on a une deuxième McLaren qui est en train de revenir. Le Hongrois Csaba Mór dont on vous parlait tout à l'heure, pilote de l'équipe Vorskur, l'équipe néerlandaise qui a doublé Frédéric Johet pour prendre la troisième position. Frédéric Johet est quatrième désormais. Pierre Sancinena en cinquième position qui confirme la bonne forme finalement de cette Porsche Racing Technology lauréate de la course 2 de Barcelone. Et puis en sixième position, Romain Monti est auteur d'un excellent début de course également. Ces 6 pilotes là, enfin on a plutôt 5 ici de la deuxième à la sixième place, mais on a vraiment un groupe de tête qui s'est bien échappé désormais. Et puis derrière, septième position pour Gilles Vanley qui mène en quelque sorte le groupe de chasse avec juste derrière lui Scott Maxwell.
Gilles Vanley très propre de la part de l'écurie CD Sport. On n'a toujours pas vu la Ginetta numéro 8 des leaders du championnat, Robert Consani, qui va céder sa place à Benjamin Larich dans quelques instants. Donc stratégie décalée qui pourrait avoir une influence sur l'issue de cette course. Je vous laisse naturellement la monter. On est également pas loin de Racing Technology.
Ah, on a perdu.
Antunes et Franck Le Harper. Il repart et je vous redonne la main.
Merci Julien, on vous a perdu.
On va voir là si Robert Consani décide de rentrer au stand. Là, il est un tout petit peu gêné par la McLaren. Est-ce qu'ils vont anticiper le pit stop ou non? Pour le moment, ça n'a pas l'air.
Ouais, ça rentre par contre chez Racing Technology avec Pierre Sancinena qui va céder son volant à Jim Pla, alors que ça a l'air terminé pour Romain Monti qui faisait équipe avec Gaël Castelli.
Ah, quel dommage, hein. Gaël Castelli qui avait été le premier leader du championnat à Nogaro. Il avait, avec Rodolphe Walgren, remporté la toute première course de la saison lors des Coupes de Pâques. Ça s'est malheureusement moins bien passé ensuite pour Gaël Castelli, l'ancien vainqueur de la Porsche Cara Cup France notamment. Et puis ici, on a vu le changement effectivement du côté de la deuxième position. Il s'est fait doubler Robert Consani par Csaba Mór, mais il essaye de rester dans le rythme pour l'instant.
Et Max Brams, lui, toujours en tête de la course, compte carrément 10 secondes cap d'avance sur Csaba Mór. Donc les deux McLaren survolent quand même ce début de course.
Des McLaren qui ont souffert en début d'année, notamment à Nogaro, notamment à Pau, Antoine,
ouais,
qui sont des circuits peut-être un peu moins appropriés aussi.
Oui, c'est vrai que la McLaren, pour le moment, elle a souffert tout au long de la saison. Mais les teams ont travaillé pour avoir roulé pour le team Hard Grand Prix. Je sais que c'est des férus de travail, donc ils ont dû faire des essais. Et aujourd'hui, la McLaren est plus dans le coup. La configuration du circuit certainement permet.